before there was color, before the sun learned how to shine, before light ever dared to touch darkness, God existed. Not made, not born, not imagined. He simply was, eternal, holy, infinite, wrapped in glory too bright for mortal eyes, surrounded by unending majesty, the Ancient of Days, seated on the throne of eternity, clothed in light that no shadow can touch. And from his heart, love overflowed. For love cannot stay silent. Love must be created. And so, God willed beauty, not out of emptiness, but out of divine fullness. He desired that creation would echo his glory, that the universe itself would become a vast cathedral where every star and every breeze would sing, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty." And so, God spoke. The first word broke the silence of nothingness, and when God speaks, nothing remains ordinary. With one breath, light exploded into existence, and darkness fled in terror. Galaxies spun at his command, each one burning with the echo of his voice. The stars began to pulse like living fire, each flame a note in the great symphony of his creation. He spoke again, and the void took shape. The earth rose from the deep, clothed in water, trembling before his presence. Mountains lifted their heads like kings answering the call of their maker. The oceans roared in obedience, and the rivers learned to dance. He drew the boundary of the sea with his finger, saying, "This far you may come, and no farther." He carved valleys with his wisdom, and dressed the earth with emerald robes. He whispered, and flowers blossomed with color. He blinked, and forests awakened, stretching toward heaven. He smiled, and the wind began to sing through the trees. Every sunrise was his painting. Every cloud was his brushstroke. Every breeze, his breath. And when he looked upon it all, he said, "It is good." Not halfway good. Not mostly good, perfectly good, because everything reflected him. The skies above, like crystal seas of glory. The mountains, his throne's reflection on earth. The thunder, his voice in motion. The stars, the jewels of his crown. And yet, the earth was not the first masterpiece. Before dust ever learned to breathe, before the oceans ever felt the moon's pull, heaven was already alive. A realm beyond time, beyond decay, beyond shadow. There God dwelt in radiant glory, and he filled that place with beings of fire and light. The angels, the seraphim, the cherubim, each one more magnificent than the human mind can bear. They are not myth, they are not imagination. They are real, living reflections of the power of God. Some with 6 wings cry day and night before his throne, "Holy, holy, holy." They do not tire. They do not grow weary, because the glory they behold never grows old. Others move like lightning across creation, carrying messages, waging wars, protecting souls. Their presence shakes mountains. Their steps split the air like thunder. Yet even they bow low before the one who made them. Because no matter how radiant, no matter how glorious, every creature finds its meaning only in him. Heaven itself is not praised for its golden streets or its gates of pearl. It is glorious because God is there. There is no sun, for he is the light. No temple, for his presence fills all. No night, for darkness has no home in his realm. All things move in perfect harmony, every note of creation tuned to one eternal song. Glory to the Almighty. And when you listen closely enough, you can still hear that song even now, in the whisper of wind through the trees, in the rhythm of the ocean, in the heartbeat of creation itself. But then came the most astonishing act of all. The same God who filled the heavens with burning angels stooped down toward the dust of the earth. He knelt, and with his own hands, he formed man. Not with a word this time, but with touch. He shaped humanity in his image, crafted not from fire or light, but from humble clay, and breathed his very breath into it. And the dust became alive. Eyes opened, lungs filled, a soul awakened, and God looked upon mankind and said, "In my likeness, I have made you." The stars reflected his majesty, the angels his power, but only humanity carried his image. And for the first time in all creation, there stood a being who could speak back to its maker, who could love him, know him, and walk with him. The earth was made beautiful, heaven was made glorious, but man was made to reflect God's heart. Every sunrise since that day is a reminder. Every wave that crashes on the shore, every bird that sings at dawn, every thunder that rolls through the sky, they are all still obeying the command first spoken by his voice. Creation has not forgotten its creator. The trees still lift their branches in praise. The rivers still clap their hands. The stars still shine where he placed them. The question is, have we? Because the beauty of this world is not just to be admired. It is a mirror that points us back to him. The majesty of heaven is not meant to satisfy our curiosity. It's meant to awaken our reverence. When we see a mountain, we are supposed to remember his strength. When we see the stars, we are supposed to remember his promise. When we see another human being, we are supposed to remember his image. All things, visible and invisible, mountains and angels, oceans and stars, hearts and souls, were made by him, through him, and for him. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. And when history reaches its final breath, when the sun burns its last flame, when heaven and earth are made new, there will still be one truth that eternity will never forget. The Lord God Almighty reigns, and every creature, from the highest seraph to the smallest bird, from the mountains to the seas, from every nation and every tongue, will cry out with one voice, "Blessing and honor and glory and power be unto him who sits on the throne, and unto the Lamb, forever and ever." And all creation, heaven, earth, angels, and the redeemed, will exist forever, to the glory of God alone.